All right, what's up, man? What's up? This is Trill City. Something new we doing. This is called A New Perspective, where we challenge the thoughts and ideas of everyday society and try to bring a new perspective to it. Today, I'm speaking with my lifelong brother. We've known each other since what?
Whew, babies. I say about 3 years old.
Yeah, baby. So, Phillip Gant.
AKA Facts.
Facts, you did. Today we're having an interview about a lot of things about life, about our culture that we grew up in. A lot of things that hopefully y'all can pull something from and learn something from. So we're gonna start it off, man. Where'd you grow up at?
Grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. Born 1994.
1994. East side, south side?
East side, Echo Heights.
East side, Fort Worth, Texas. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Two-parent household, mom, dad, what?
Mom and dad weren't in the picture. Grandmother raised me, so dad was busy doing other things, mom busy doing other things, so grandmother took over. So raised in a one-parent household, a grandparent household at that.
Okay. Any manly figures, any father figures, any uncles?
I had some here and there, come and go type father figures, but, I never had a permanent father figure that I could just always go to, So I had uncles and mentors and people at church, but, not a permanent father figure in the household, no.
Okay. One of the main parts in our life, that the story that we always tell is around what, middle school?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Dunbar.
Definitely, middle school is...
Yeah, what school did we go to?
Dunbar Middle, baby, home of the Wildcats.
Dunbar Middle. And what area is that school in?
It's in Stop 6.
Stop 6.
Also the east side.
East side. For some of y'all who don't know, Stop 6 is a historical black community on the east side of Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. It was also, at one point, one of the top performing schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the was it North Texas or was it in Texas?
In Texas General. Dunbar always had scholars.
Yeah.
Scholars back in the day. And so it was definitely known as one of the top schools.
Yeah. One of the top performing honors programs.
Mm-hmm. It was an honor to go to Dunbar at one point, yeah.
Yeah, it was. So, all right, so in school, growing up as a kid, how was your grades? How were you in school? Were you acting up, or were you a good kid? How were you in school?
Well, when we started at the beginning, I was always a good kid. Under my grandmother's direction, I was always trying to do the right things, make good grades. I made a lot of a kid mistake, a child's mistake, but other than that, I always strive to do, good things and excel in school. Always was accepted into somebody's program or had some type of scholarship to private schools that I could attend. I ended up going to Miller Avenue Christian Academy starting off, and they gave me a jump start that I needed into life, and I ended up skipping a grade. So it definitely was a great start with my grades, everything. A honor roll kid, always smart, ready to go. Youngest kid in my class too.
So, okay, so you were a good kid, you made good grades, you went to school to get your education, right?
Yes, sir.
Under your grandma's,
guidance.
Guidance, yeah.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
your grandma she was around elementary, middle school, she was what, 50, in her 50s or something like that?
I would say when I first, 49, let's just do the math here real quick. So elementary school, she was in her late 40s, early 50s, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. So, all right, we're going to fast forward to, what, 6th grade, 7th grade, Dunbar.
Well, yeah.
Let's talk about our experience at Dunbar.
Well, Dunbar Middle School, man, it began at Glencrest. I went to Glencrest 6th grade, which usually transfers over to Forest Oak. But my grandmother was seeing how stuff was at Glencrest, and she knew Dunbar to be an exemplary school, which it was at one point. So she wanted me to go to Dunbar instead of Forest Oak Middle. And her perception of what Dunbar was not what it was when I went there. Everything had changed over, the mentality of the young people. And I had already got a glimpse of that. Like I said again, I am Turtle. If you guys are not familiar with that, that is right smack dab in the middle of the Butler Projects. So, and coming from a humble home there, that was a shock to me as well. But Dunbar was the biggest shock. So, You get these expectations. I'm pulling you out of this school because of the multiple problems going on, the way that our community and the way the black society was changing. And I'm sending you to Dunbar. So, I thought I was going to school with a bunch of, smart, exemplary kids, which I really believed a lot of kids were still smart. But there was a lot of foolishness going on. Anybody who goes to Dunbar knows that, it was a wild place. Mm-hmm. It was. It was. People fighting all the time, violence, smoking, drinking. I didn't seen it all at Dunbar. I've seen it all. So, and I wasn't prepared because my mindset was that, things were going to be a certain way. And then, when expectations and reality hit and they collide and it doesn't go together well, it causes turmoil. Right, right. When you expect something to go a certain way and it doesn't, it causes stress. It causes a lot of mental issues as far as focusing because you envision something and nothing like what you envision is what you got.
Yeah. And mind you, your grandma she grew up in a different era.
Yes.
She's 50 years old. A lot of kids' moms are what, 20? 20s or in their early 30s.
The early 30s, definitely. Early 30s, definitely by that time. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, she grew up in the 60s as a teenager, which, don't get me wrong, like, we know segregation, we know what was going on. Mm-hmm. The 60s and were their own type of problems. They were their own type of different situations. You didn't worry about somebody your own skin tone. You worried about people that were outside of your skin tone. So she never probably imagined that somebody who looked just like me would hate me just as much as somebody back in the day that didn't look like me would. Yeah. And that was a big disconnect that we had because she felt as if, you go into an all-black school, everything would be okay. Of course, there's problems in every school you go to, but, not to the extreme that we went to at Dunbar. And so there was that. Yeah, growing up in the 60s, you worried about outside sources, not inside sources. And I think because everybody's parents were on the same page back then. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, everybody's parents was on the same page. So now, people's parents look at life differently. Some people are disciplinary. Some people are not. Some people rather talk it out. And I think everybody was on the same accord back in the day. Mm-hmm. And that threw her off as well. And
in the 60s, they had black businesses. Black people shopping with black people.
My grandmother's a black business owner.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, hairstylist. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She had her own business.
Own salon off Seminary.
Yeah. My grandfather owned a bowling alley in Stop 6. So yeah, back then, black people were shopping black businesses, shopping with each other. So it was a different mentality.
Yeah.
Back then.
Very one love, unity, a lot of unity.
Yeah. So we're at Dunbar, and we both are in honors programs, right?
Yes, we both are in honors programs and cell classes.
Yeah. Honors program is for the top performing students. Mm-hmm. We made A's and B's. You wouldn't find a C on my report card.
Yeah.
You wouldn't find a C on Phillip's too much either.
Yeah. You know, distractions may have got me a few C's here and there, but for the most part, it was A and B's all the way around. Yeah. Spelling bee winner. That's another thing, got to take the spelling bee crown. I was so proud of that back in the day. You don't even understand, man. Mm-hmm. But, definitely he's right. High grade students.
Yeah. So we get to Dunbar, and what is more of your experience? Let's go more into it. Like what?
Oh man, if y'all want me to cut it dry, I was hurt, as I expected that everybody was going to be on some type of mission in life and figuring out what they wanted to do when they grow up and making A's and B's. And on my first day, I got to see Mark, growing up again. We grew up since we were 3 years old, so that was exciting. Go to home class. And I tell you what, I'm pretty sure, if I remember this right, don't want to lie, I'm pretty sure within the first hour of being at Dunbar, somebody had already tried to pick on me and tried to bully me. And
you were a short kid back then.
Yes.
You wasn't Big Phil right now. You was
yeah. I sprouted. Life said, "Hey man, now that you're grown and it's too late for all that, let's make you almost 6 feet tall and widen you out." So I was a tiny dude. I was still in my 4 feet, frail, thin, you know, and people took advantage of that. People took advantage of that. People didn't get to know me. People didn't really care to get to know me. They just wanted to know what I was about. And when they found out it was about books, they were like, oh man, you know, hey, you came to Dunbar about 20, 30 years too late for that, man. You know, so, and that was a sad thing because I'm expecting that. I'm going to get in all these different programs. And like I said, I'm going to have so much competition and people are not focusing like I'm focusing. Like I said, I'm doing my schoolwork. Somebody's walking up on me trying to smack me, hit me, pickle me, get your short ass out of here, you know, and people found anything. And I believe it's security. It's what they had going on at home, what they didn't have, you know. When you live in a very sad household and you bring that out with you and you see somebody else that's very happy, it's hard to relate to that person. And then when you can't relate, sometimes you form envy and jealousy, and it's subconscious, you know. I don't think dudes looked at me and was like, oh, little Phillip, I hate that dude, I want to be like him. But it was more like, you know, in their head, they're like, oh man, this dude, he just always focusing, he's always on his work, you know, and I don't understand it. Like, they don't get it because they have so much stress from at home that they're dealing with at school that they bring with them because they have nowhere to put it. And that's another thing as young black men, back in the Gap, you know, there was no venting. Venting was a sign of weakness. Venting was a sign of you can't handle this. You're supposed to be a man. You're supposed to do that. And a man does handle stuff. But it's okay sometimes to tell somebody what's going on and just express yourself and not bring it out in violence or bullying and stuff like that. So yeah, within my first hour, somebody was already picking on me. And I had a little rolling backpack, man. I'm telling you, boy, you hear me going down the hall, booga, 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 booga. As loud as that is, I brought attention to myself. I'm running down the hallway, rolling backpack.
Because see, your grandma sending you to school, get your education. You have your rolling backpack, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of kids, they ain't even walking down the hall with books. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh no, man. A lot of kids brought their forces in a pencil. You didn't see a lot of books in people's hands. And me, I used to carry all my books. Used to carry all my papers, even library books.
Yeah. Now, mind you, he's doing what's right. Right?
Yeah.
This is what you're supposed to do, right?
Exactly.
You're doing what's right.
Exactly.
And go ahead.
And this is what furthers you in life, you know? I think a lot of people back then were so stuck in the loop they were in that moment that they probably saw, or excuse me, let me take that back. They probably didn't see a future. They didn't know what their future was going to hold. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I knew what I wanted to do in life. I felt like I knew where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And at that time when I was a kid, I wanted to be a marine biologist so bad, or a pilot. I wanted to either fly planes or swim in the oceans and discover new animals. And, you know, you ask other kids and they're like, oh, shoot, I'm trying to figure it out. Or, you know, the black community, you know, I know people are going to hate to hear this, but it's a brainwash. NFL, NBA, rapper, you know what I'm saying? All of that stuff is so hard and elite to get into that not just any Joe Bob can do it, you know? That's rich in our history, so I never had a problem with it, but it was weird that people had a problem with what I wanted to do. Oh, this dude want to fly a plane or get in the ocean. What kind of black person is this?
Because grandma, she kept you traveling, right?
Oh, yeah. You know, I had a lot of issues when I go to school and I'm like, hey, I just came back from Disney World, or, you know, and I'm in the hood. You know, I live in what we call the hood. The hood world.
Which is a fairly new term, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That term came around in the 80s. Somewhere.
80s, yeah. Somebody, yeah. And it's really just short for neighborhood.
And when you take the word neighbor out of the word,
yeah.
What psychologically, what does that mean? You know, you took neighbor out of it, so now you're taking the community out of it. You know,
you take the unity out of it because your neighbors. You know, I watch my aunt here. I'm not gonna give out the location of where my aunt is, but I watch the city and neighborhood that she's in, and I see the unity between neighbors. We just had a movie night in the backyard. All the neighbors came through and watched movies. I never experienced that on the east side. They came, we set up a little blow-up projector in the back, and we all watched movies, and we laughed as neighbors with the hood, but with the neighbor, too.
Yeah.
And We had an amazing time. Everybody knows everybody. If something was to happen over here, this whole neighborhood will be over here because they know the Harris family, you know,
Right.
and they know my grandmother. And so I didn't feel that growing up. The unity was gone. And I think that hood may have became a fitting name and taking the neighbor out because we had lost that unity.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, we're at Dunbar. So you there to get your education. You got the rolling backpack.
Yes, sir.
And so were you able to continue doing your work?
Oh.
How did you get through that?
I didn't. I'm gonna be a real person. I didn't. I allowed myself to be distracted. I did make it through. I didn't get held back either grade. I did manage to always make sure that one thing I didn't let completely ruin me was my grade. So it's hard to go home with a 95 and a U in class and say, hey, I did everything I was supposed to do in here. When I did, and I allowed people to change me as a person. I allow people to take that nice innocence. I'll give you the sweater off my back if you're cold. I'll give you my lunch money and I'll go without for the day. I allowed people to take that away from me, to tell me that was weak, to tell me that was a bad mindset, to tell me I'm getting ran over and played, when honestly, I was just a giving person and a nice person and want to be friends with everybody, which there's nothing wrong with, you know? But everybody made that too friendly. What is that, Mark? What is too friendly?
Yeah.
You know, I get too friendly, like you let somebody come off in your house, you know, take advantage of you. Maybe that's, but like, how can you be as meeting somebody too friendly? How you doing today? Too friendly. Or holding a conversation, like you see them, they're sitting there, they're not talking to somebody, and you want to go up there and have a conversation with them because they look sad, and you're too friendly. So that was a sad mindset that we had growing up.
So here you have a kid who he's very intelligent. His behavior is very on point, right? He gets sent to school with everything he needs, the right uniform. You just get picked on about your uniform.
Oh man, you know, you would think that. You would think just being clean, no dirtiness, not smelling bad would be enough. But, you know, people love to talk about my shoe game and, you know, talk about what I had on. Where the new kids say drip now. And right as we got older, there was swag, but you don't look cool. To be more specific. Oh, you don't look hard. You ain't looking fresh, clean. But I was clean.
When you look at all the rich white guys, they have on what, New Balance shoes?
Oh yeah, man. Hey, right now, side note, I live in Salt Lake City, Utah, man, and all the Tesla, the McLaren drivers, all that, bro, they don't have on drip, swag. They get out and you think they somebody's dad or something. You don't. Yeah. You see some regular pants, a shirt from Walmart, and some type of cheap tennis shoes. Some Nike runners. You might see Nikes, but it's not Air Force Ones. It ain't the J's. It's not all of that. Which again, nothing wrong with. Whatever you like to wear is what you like to wear. But at the same time, that's not their primary focus, and they don't judge people in a positive manner because they see some J's on your feet.
Right. So this is the flaw within our culture.
Definitely.
When you go into middle school, if you don't have something as simple as the new shoes, the J's, you finna get roasted. This is what we used to say, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Get fired up.
Get fired up.
Yeah.
So going back to 7th grade, so we both went to the same school. Just to give them a quick story about your rolling backpack, right? Mm-hmm. So, you hear Phillip coming down the hall. It was a guy, I'm not going to say his name, but it was a guy that would come in the hallway and see Phillip's rolling his backpack going to class, right? Always on time to class. You know?
Man, running.
Running.
If I stop and peed, I came out that bathroom, you hear that clink, clink, clink as I pulled that handle up, and you hear that booga, 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 booga. Let me let you finish, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, so it's this guy every day, right? He would see Phillip with his rolling backpack going to class for no reason. He would run up and try to kick the backpack over. For no reason. This is a good kid he's going to school, doing what he's supposed to do.
Didn't bother nobody.
Didn't say nothing to nobody. That was out of line, nothing. So, this guy would do that, man, and I had to stop that dude from doing that. Hey man, nah. Don't fuck with, excuse my language, don't do that with Phil. You feel me? Like,
yeah, no.
This my, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, man. you know, I was blessed to have a Marcus, and I feel sad for kids coming up because not everybody has a Trill City. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody has that person that has their back and allowed. He helped me get through 7th grade by making sure that the dudes that was bothering me would lay off a little bit, you know, and he would do that, man. This dude would make it his priority. Instead of running to class with me or running to his class or even walking to his class, he would make it a priority in his day to see if he can make me late to class. He'd see if he can kick my backpack over, stop me. You know, one time he kicked my backpack over, and this is when Mark really checked him, is when he kicked my backpack over and I had stuff fly out. I didn't zip my backpack good. I had a bunch of stuff fall out. I had to gather all that up. And Mark pulled up in his face and he was like, hey man, leave him alone, dude. Why do you bother him? And you know, we ain't gonna get into the side of where we had to kind of get a little dark with it, but Mark was saying if you ain't gonna step off, then maybe something gonna have to go down. And then dudes start leaving, oh, why you protecting him? Sad, man. We should protect each other as a community. This man looked in his face. Why you protecting him, bro? He lame. He ain't, why you protecting this lame ass nigga? I'm gonna be, excuse my language, but I'm gonna give it to you raw. That's the shit he would say. Why you protecting this lame ass dude? What's up? Oh, I grew up with him. Oh, okay, well, and then he get to backing off and stuff.
So in our community, right, in our culture, once again, doing the right thing is considered lame. They call you square.
Oh, yeah.
When you're doing the right thing.
Oh, yeah. Man, I'm telling you, when I won the spelling bee, bro, I remember, I never forget, I won a spelling bee. I said the last word. They said, you won. I got my trophy. I paraded it around the hall, man. And there was dudes trying to knock my trophy off my desk. Lame ass trophy, spelling bee winner, cool. What the, you can spell a word, ooh, spell park, you know. Not congratulate me, hey Phil, good stuff, man. I mean, hey man, go represent us in regionals, go represent us at state. Hey, I want you to make it to Scripps in Washington. Win this school some money, we can get some new stuff for the school. Nah, man, didn't want to do any of that. They wanted to see me just go ahead and stop right there. Or maybe they didn't want to see that, but it was their effort that they didn't like that I excelled like that. So they made it their effort to make me feel discouraged about doing good. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and that's...
The bus ride home.
Oh man, dude, that was hell, man. So it was sad because we had this, I want you to remember this bus time. You came home with me, right?
Yeah.
We had some stuff to play with in our backpack, man. I wanted to rip it out on the bus and get going then. I was like, let's do it. And Marcus had to make me aware that it was only going to make it harder on me. Somebody was going to look at this and make it harder on me. I'm still young, remember? Like you said, youngest guy in the class. We discussed that earlier. Mm-hmm. So I have maybe a slightly younger mindset than everybody. Everybody's kind of transitioning into that teenage, preteen, teenage years. And I'm still kind of hanging around, just barely getting past double digits. So I'm like, let's get it out, let's play. And he's like, bro, do you see how hard you got on the bus? You don't want that, man. And I couldn't even pull some stuff out of my backpack and joke around or play in fear of other people giving me problems because that was the only time Marcus was going to ride the bus. He couldn't help me no more. And what was sad is those kids, man, oh, I get on the bus, man. I sat in the front. I sat in the back. I sat in the middle. Hell, if I sat on the bus driver's lap, they was going to slap me. It didn't matter where I sat or was. And they were gonna hit me. They were gonna push me. They were gonna poke at my ears. You know, I'm not going to mention this dude. I don't want to get him in trouble. But I had a dude that touched me in an inappropriate way, you know. Talking about, oh, with that, you ain't going to never get no girls. That's just dark right there. And it's sad. And, I had so much trauma from that. You know, I get on the bus. I had a great day at school. Here comes random dude slapping me. Man, you need to get a good edge up, bro. You ugly as hell. You know what? What is that, man? I'm sitting there minding my business, looking at the back of the seat, making no effort to really conversate with anybody because I've already seen friendliness doesn't go over well. Being friendly, mm-hmm. You know, something that these days is just having good social skills, you know, and it's sad because people were taking that from me. They tried to take that from me. And that's important to business, building relationships outside of work or at work. Right, you know, right. That stuff gets you... In the real world. Yeah, in the real world, that stuff gets you far. Having a great personality, being open and friendly, that's how you attract people. It makes you a magnet. And people try to turn me away from that. But yeah, I would get on the bus and I was, I think, one of the last few stops, so I would have to go through hell on the way home, dude. I would have a bus ride from Stop Sits to Echo Heights full of hell, man. And even when I went to my grandmother's beauty shop and I was a little bit closer, hell, man, every single time, dude. Nobody let me get on the bus and ride home, get off, and go home. Somebody always had to say something to me or pick on me. And the bus was a horrific thing. That was probably one of my worst traumas growing up, was the bus ride home. Couldn't even go home in peace, Mark, man.
Now, mind you, he was an intelligent kid, smart kid. He's not no punk, right?
Yeah, no.
He's not no punk, right? But this is what they call you, you know. But when you coming up in a household where you getting your education, you don't get in trouble.
No.
You act up at school. What's gonna happen?
I got a whooping, man. See, and that's
whoopings.
That was a lot of dudes' problems, man. And people would get rewards. So, like, if I got into a fight with this dude, I go home, I get my ass whooped. I don't get to watch TV, do nothing until I can get my mind right and go back to school and act right. This dude go home, he get to play video games.
Because Granny in her 50s, right? She's from a different
era. Yeah.
You don't cut up at school.
Yeah, no, at all, man. If there was a school fight, it was something serious and it happened. And that was probably the one fight for probably months or a month. Right. And, me coming up, we had one time at Dunbar, we had 11 fights in one day.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy,
Kids
man.
Get pepper sprayed.
Kids getting pepper sprayed.
We're what, 11, 12 years old?
Yeah, 12 something. The ones in 8th grade, 13, and getting pepper sprayed, taken down by the school cop and everything like that. And
so grandma's era, because my mom and his grandma, they knew each other. That's how we, grew up together. But so they're the same age. So my mom told me, back then, they didn't have the dress code that we had. You had to be fly and all that. They had like one pair of shoes that was fly, which was like the All-Stars or something like that. The haircut wasn't important because they just had afros. It wasn't even fades back in their day. So
yeah, the lineup is a lot newer than you people. Than people know.
And nowadays, a lineup is everything. If your lineup,
Yeah, I need one right now. But
So this is what grandma. This is her era.
Yeah, and that's her perception of things.
Yeah. So I ain't finna spend $100 on no Jordans. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna. So you go to school with whatever you got on, and it's nice clothes. You know what I'm saying? But it may not be the flyest. And people this
era.
Yeah, this generation.
Yeah.
Is shallow, and so you get picked on because of that.
And what's crazy is it was all about the name. I would come to school flyer than other dudes, but they'll have a Ralph Lauren polo shirt on with a fat grease stain, but they were cleaner than me because it was polo.
And back in the old days, there wasn't that much name brand. It wasn't Jordans. It wasn't.
No. Jordan. You got to think Jordan played in the '90s. He started dropping his shoes probably late '80s and '90s. I don't know his history that much. I'm not a big, huge Jordan buff. Yeah. But so Mimi was way grown. She had already had her own kids by then. She wasn't worried about no Jordans. And that was their version of what we have, like Kyrie's or these new basketball players for any young guys who's going to watch, Kyrie's and all that stuff. That was their version of that. It was the newest basketball player in his shoes. So
I say that to say this. All the other kids, they have, like we said, they have younger parents. So their parents they might be from the projects, but they getting however they getting it. They getting the new shoes, the new J's or whatever like that. But the kids aren't focused on what they're supposed to be focused on. They're not, this is a kid who was focused on what he's supposed to be focused on. Mm-hmm. Intelligent kid and doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. So why you being bothered? So for me, around that point, my mind was already being, kind of being corrupted around that point. And one thing I can say about Phil, his heart never got hardened.
No.
Never.
No.
His heart never got hard. He never became the bully.
No.
Too much.
I never became the bully.
Never became the bully. So anything else you want to say about that era before I move on to the next? Or?
Oh man, Dunbar, crazy time. I do again, here comes my heart. I do remember seeing the beauty of the stuff, man. I I can't say that I regret what I learned at Dunbar. I can't say I regret that because it helped me realize that life ain't gonna be peaches and cream, and I ain't gonna just live it up. And that's for all these kids getting bullied now. A quick short note, stop on this topic. You know, I see these kids with these school shootings now, and you know, it's sad because I think this is where society has pushed, you know, these kids too, you know, and then the exposure that they have, they know about guns and stuff, you know. I mean, you listen to any rap music, you're gonna know what a carbine is, what a 40 is and all that stuff. They have all the guns in the music, and these kids are doing that now. And I just want to thank, you know, God that he helped me to keep that heart on me, that I didn't never turn into a monster. Because, you know, with the mindset of these kids now, no telling if I had a weak mindset, what could have happened to people. People didn't think about that. And I don't agree with school shooters at all, but I think it's opening people's eyes to this bullying, because you go talk to principals and they, oh, okay, man, we'll talk to them and da-da-da-da, and then they never talk to them. Oh, we don't have physical evidence. We don't have proof. We didn't catch you guys on camera. And I would hear people go through that. They were also getting bullied. So I never went to report nobody to the principal because I thought it was a waste of time. So I never went and told on nobody. I never went to Miss Woods and Mr. Oliver. I remember y'all. Shout out to y'all. Shout out Mr. Oliver. But I never went to them because, you know, I felt like it wasn't going to do anything. But I do thank, you know, those people who bullied me for helping me make me the dude I am today. I actually appreciate you guys.
We're going to get to that right now. So there's a scripture in the Bible that says a prophet is accepted everywhere except for his own hometown, right? Mm-hmm. And so, you know, how that affected you growing up, you could kind of see it in the confidence a little bit, you know. You know, I used to always get on your heart, man, walk like this, do this, you know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it wasn't until you had to leave. You want to talk about that? He had to leave. Go ahead.
When leaving Dunbar?
Going to Utah.
Oh, man. You know, I will say my bullying probably stopped freshman year. People gonna always talk. People always gonna have something to say. Don't ever change yourself for nobody, because if you get skinny, somebody gonna say you're ugly. If you're fat, somebody gonna call you fat, of course. If you got bad hair, somebody's gonna look at you and find something to say, you know? So, I mean, you change yourself for yourself. But Utah, everything changed. At this point, there's no Marcus. There's no Mimi. There's nobody to run back to. And so now I'm here, and people are loving me, first of all. They're loving my personality.
You went to Utah to go to trade school.
I did go to trade school. I went to trade school for pharmacy tech and CNA. And there, I had nobody I knew. I had to make all new friends, all new anything. So to protect myself, it had to be me. There was nobody there to protect me, nobody there to help protect me. And I had a fight. And I happened to win that fight, and it just changed my life and perspective. But I still didn't like it. I didn't like the violence. I didn't like any of it. But I met new people. I met people who appreciated me for who I am. And that goes back to the scripture you said. Yeah. And it was crazy to see that my personality was so well taken and so loved somewhere else. And where I'm from, where people know me since we was kids, it was not loved. It was not appreciated. My kindness and my heart was not appreciated. And
you found a brotherhood.
I did. Shout out to the family. Y'all know who y'all are. Mm-hmm. True Family Originals. That's our little group. You know, it was a brotherhood, no gang stuff. We were young scholars, young brothers. And these are friends I have to this day. And this is me opening up raw. They probably don't know any of this about me. You know, I've never hid it from them. But I've told them here and there brief stories. You know, we didn't talk about childhood, but you know. Because
when he left away from his hometown, he's the big Phil. Like they didn't know you was the.
Yeah, I'm big boy. I'm big Phil. You know, zero tolerance Phil. I didn't take no smoke off nobody. As soon as it came to me, I was ready to handle. And it was me transitioning into adulthood. I got my size on me. I got my height on me, and now I can make a difference. You know. Yeah. Back in the day, you know, 4'7", I was swinging at trees, you know. And now I'm looking eye to eye with dudes, and the whole thing is flipped. I'm not the bully or anything, but now I'm somebody that people go to. Hey, this dude is getting bothered. Hey, something's going on over here, and I'm handling this stuff. And You know, so it was almost like living two different lives.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all my brothers know me as, man. From school, man, that's what they know me as, is handle my business. And can't nobody take nothing from me. I don't take shit off nobody, and I got respected, you know.
And I want to commend him on that because he didn't go overboard with a lot of kids who might have went through something like he went through. Some could become the bully. You know what I'm saying?
No, I just became from the one getting bullied to the bully beater. That's what I turned.
You bully the bully.
Yeah, that's what I turned into. Never picked on anybody.
So the point of this, man, we just showing y'all how this culture and the black culture, how it destroys its own babies and how we gotta change the mindset. We're getting ready to have some guests, some older. Some of the guests we mentioned, and we're gonna give y'all even another new perspective that some of y'all might have not known about. You know what I'm saying? From a new perspective. So,
yeah,
stay tuned.
Yes, sir.
All right.